Welcoming everybody to a special edition of NXT Untapped. I'm Scalz, and I'm joined by the Will Gray and the co-host of NXT Untapped himself, the Jordynne Expo. How's everybody doing tonight?
Hello.
Fantastic. Just fireworks.
I mean, it's tough to say because I was feeling such a high after this event, and then I just got deflated with the last two matches. Not to say that they were not good matches. I just was expecting different results myself. So it kind of brought my mood down on it.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally agree with that. Like, you had a chance to shock the wrestling world tonight, and you didn't take the leap.
I'm going to be a glass half full person with it because I just want to say, like, this doesn't mean that it's done. This is just okay, it didn't happen the way we thought it was going to, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. I understand that, and I wanted it to be different because I wanted to see instant results. And I guess that's me for being too optimistic in something that was going to happen. Because I'm more of the glass half full guy than the guy that is always the pessimistic guy, you know? Like, welcome in Al in the chat. We got Shadow tonight. Sean Hickenbottom did not cook tonight. That's not okay. We'll get into all the matches, but I don't actually think that is true. So let's start off with the first match of the evening, and that was the women's North American ladder match. Do you think this was the right way to start the show?
Yeah, I mean, start at fast pace, like get the crowd pumped and ready to go. I mean, if I knew how the last two matches were going to end, you could have started the show with them, and I'd have been okay.
I definitely would have said this or the NXT Underground were the only two options to start the show. Really, you had to start with a bank, and like you said, not that any of the other matches weren't great, but I don't think any of the other matches would have set the tone just right the way that ladder match or the NXT Underground match would have.
Shadow is saying the men's triple threat could have set the tone the proper way too.
That would have been a good pick also.
I could agree with that because of what happened during the match where you got Gallus involved. Yeah. But this women's ladder match was crazy, though. Like, all the different spots, you had, 4 women toss Lash out of the ring onto a ladder. Like, I thought she was going to break in half. The way she hit that ladder, she didn't even hit a long ways. Like, that's just, that had to hurt.
I liked the Sol Ruka spot where she hit like 3 soul snatchers in a row.
She was a standout of tonight.
Yeah, she really showed out the sunset flip over the top of the ladder. We said when that happened, we were like, pretty much everybody hanging out was like, oh shit. Like, that's always one of those spots that kind of make your heart race a little bit.
Yeah.
I would definitely say Sol Ruka was the star and Kalani wasn't she wasn't the wrong pick. You know what I mean? Any of these women had a realistic shot at winning that title.
To me, Kalani is the safe pick.
I don't feel like there's anything wrong with a safe pick. I got my bachelor's degree from my safe pick.
No, I'm not saying there is. I'm just saying they could have went with Sol Ruka winning it. You could have had Fallon Henley win it. Like, you could have had a different go around. So I'm interested to see where they go from here with this. Like, who is Kalani Jordynne's first opponent going to be?
Lash Legend.
And are you going to immediately have her lose it to her?
No.
I-
You use it to continue. See, this is where now you have Lash and Trick's story help play off of the two titles. You see what I mean? So now she could go after and lose, but still have the story with Trick to kind of keep everything balanced between it. So I think she's got a safety net story with Trick Williams that would allow her to eat an L and not really affect her overall stock. It wouldn't be her only story that way.
Okay. I could see that happening.
That's just my thoughts.
Joe, Jax.
Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you.
All right, go ahead.
I was about to call on you. What was your thoughts on this match?
Soul Ruka looked amazing. She can snatch my soul. And I'm a ginger and I don't have one. But she could damn sure try. All right, just saying, throwing that out there. Now, I thought it was, like I said, it was a good way to start the card off. Congratulations to the Pink Ranger for winning.
The Pink Ranger.
I was very proud of it. Popular girls, I guess, do succeed more. So there's that.
I'm just more interested to see where they go from here with this. I want to see how much this actually is on TV. Like how big of a focus this belt is going to be. Is it going to become an afterthought, or is it going to be something that we see a lot of? That's really what I'm concerned about with coming out of this.
You had the chance, and I don't remember who said it. It might have been Will. I don't remember who the fuck said it. But you had the chance. By the way, the women's North American title is now up on the shop.
Of course it is.
And it looks gorgeous in the photos.
I told you they had to wait till it was actually given out.
But I digress. I don't know who said it, but you had a chance to take the NXT women's title, which we'll get to later, to a different show and showcase this belt by itself. That's not an original thought. Someone said it. I just can't credit. I don't remember.
I think that was the one who's next to me.
That you, Will?
I think Will said that. You muted.
What did I say?
Didn't you say that if the women's title could go to a different show, which would allow the women's North American to be showcased front and center?
Yeah, I said that having the women's North American title was like having a women's TV title in NXT. So therefore, if Jordynne Grace were to win the title or a Becky Lynch from the main roster were to win it, they had a TV-focused title for the women in one of the strongest women's divisions in wrestling to be able to have a focused title on their every week TV, was what I said. That was assuming Jordynne Grace were to win.
Right.
But now they have two good, TV-ready, story-driven titles for the women's division. So, win-win, I guess.
What's going on, Sean? How did you enjoy NXT Battleground? I know you were there. So let's head into the men's tag match that we had. The Supersonic Duo versus Gallows and Anderson, a.k.a. the Good Brothers.
Go first, Mo.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen. This is like, I understand certain things, and I know that the Good Brothers are technically SmackDown guys, but give the guys their due. Give them something. Like, come on. Like, you just made you made a tag team that right now, in my eyes, is the only tag team that could go up against the Gorillas and hold their own. You made them look like a bunch of bitches.
I don't think they look like bitches. Wait a second. Are we about to have our first fight?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know if I'm prepared for this emotionally. It's been a long week.
They let a kid in a fucking Dollar Tree Power Ranger mask and Seth Rollins' fucking kindergarten student beat the fucking Good Brothers.
Listen, Linda. Okay. The Good Brothers went down there and they allowed a kid in a Power Rangers mask or whatever you said.
A Dollar Tree Power Ranger mask. That's what
Thank
it
you.
looked like.
They allowed
you ever go
a
to the
kid
Dollar
in
Tree?
Yeah, no, I know exactly, like the
Knockoff.
prototype Zero Power Rangers or whatever. I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
No, I think that a kid in a dollar store Power Rangers mask and Seth Rollins' kindergarten student, I think they looked great. They didn't win by strength or by overpowering the Good Brothers. They won by agility and cunning and timing, which is what you would expect from a smaller, faster tag team. So I think that the issue with the Good Brothers not winning is this puts them in that unforgiving limbo of the WWE mid-card. Because now they don't have the belt. AJ's tied up with Cody. So even if they do go help with that, what are they then? Just henchmen for Cody. So now the Good Brothers, one of the most decorated active tag teams, are relegated to catering and whatever. Maybe we could get a Good Brothers feud on Speed.
Unless we actually see them go against Theory and Waller.
See, that's a good call. Theory and Waller, they've got that great build with DIY. I really appreciate the fact that they're doing some good old school tag team booking with that by having them do the singles matches one against the other and then the next week the other two. Like, I really appreciate that good old school, like, that wrestling booking. Memphis gets over everywhere, right? So I appreciate that the tag teams, with them being in that mid-card tag scene, at least now there's 3 healthy tag divisions for them to be a part of, I guess. That's the cup half full mentality, right? That's how I said I'd start this episode.
And they could have, and we already have the tease of Theory and Waller splitting up. So you have to assume that they're going to drop the belts shortly. Not necessarily right away, but in the near future. You can have them drop it to either DIY or the OC. Because the OC would help get over the next team.
Can we just give the tag team belts to, legitimate fucking tag teams?
Well, that's the 2 that I was just talking about.
Yeah, those are 2 pretty good legitimate tag teams. DIY and the Good Brothers. I think they qualify as good tag teams.
You just saw Gail Kim, Sean? Oh, and the president of TNA. There you go. What about Jonathan Gresham? He was there next to them before.
Yeah. Gail Kim's an alumnus of Botch Bots and Chair Shots. No free shout-outs.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed in this match, but this one I kind of understood because, yes, they are main roster talent coming down to NXT. It's just I think the NXT tag division needs a lift back up because right now you haven't seen much. Like Gallus is not involved in the tag division right now. Like a Gallus transition from beating the OC would have been a bigger get for them than beating Supersonic Duo. So like I thought they could have been a good transitional champion to help build up the next one. But I understand why they didn't win it, but I still wish they would have. The next match we had was which match was it? The Underground match. NXT Underground. I mean, this shit was fire tonight. I loved every second of this match.
I like the match. I don't like the outcome, but I like it. I don't like the outcome of almost any match.
Yeah, I am right there with you on that, Jax. But this match, the atmosphere being in the Apex, I think added to it because it did feel a smaller venue. It felt closer. It felt like you were on top of the action. But I enjoyed this one. What did you think, Will?
I think the only thing that would have made this match better would have been the Fight Pit or the Lion's Den, or hell, put it in a UFC octagon.
I so wish they did that.
I think that would have been the only thing that could have made this match better. This was the gimmick match of the night by like a fraction of a millimeter above the ladder match. I think Shayna and Lola showed out. I said on Twitter, give me Lola Vice and Masha Slamovich somewhere down the road. Please, for the love of God, let me see those two beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I'd take that in a heartbeat.
Well, we had Masha versus Shayna, right? At
Yep.
Bloodsport.
At Bloodsport, yeah.
Who won that?
Shayna did.
Okay. So now Lola beat Shayna.
Correct.
That's the next logical step. Let me
I'm
go
not
after
mad about
Masha.
it. Yeah.
Because if you could beat her, then so can I. Like, that's the mindset that I think Lola should have right now, and stop the fucking dancing on the screen. Like,
I hate all the fucking dancing.
I get you have a nice ass. I get you want to show off. You just whooped Shayna's ass in a fight. You don't need to be shaking your ass on TV for everybody to see after that. How about you go put some ice on your face for the black eyes you're going to be getting, because you took some shots in this match. Her face was all swollen. Like, stop worrying about dancing and go get that taken care of.
Do you think she should have sold this a little bit more like a real fight and less like a wrestling match? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Yes.
100%. Because Shayna was selling throughout the entire match, and she was doing a great job at it. And Lola looked like she was no-selling a lot of the shit. And it kind of brought the match down a little bit for me. And I really wanted Shayna, because once the match started, literally like 30 seconds in, Shayna could have just knocked her right the fuck out with a punch. And she had to stop her fist from going forward because she would have connected right on her face. Like, it would have been great just to see her knock out real quick. But Lola needs to work on the selling aspect of the wrestling business and to make it more believable.
Yeah. I agree with that. I don't know, dude. I mean, I think that's almost like that might be my match of the night.
It's up there. The match was really good. And the ending was good too. Just the way that the ref stepped in, and then Shayna was like grabbing the ref, like I didn't give, like, I'm not done. I'm still fighting. Like, the way it was sold, it still kept Shayna looking strong.
Yes,
in the
it did.
sense
100%.
that I think we're going to see something. Like, we're definitely not done with this feud yet.
No,
but where do we go from
no, we're
here?
far from it.
I can agree with that.
Is the next step the Fight Pit?
Hope it's something.
That's like, we went to NXT Underground. What's next? Do we have the Fight Pit? Do we get a Falls Count Anywhere match? Something along those lines.
That'd be dope. Falls Count Anywhere would be dope.
I mean, does it happen on NXT, a weekly show, or do we see it at Heatwave? Like, do we think it keeps going from there? That is, Heatwave is a month away, so it's not that far. But something needs to come from this, because I don't think it's done yet.
Yeah.
Anything else on this before we head over to the next match?
No, I feel like gimmick match of the night. This wasn't the best match of the night, but I think this was definitely the best non-standard wrestling match.
Yeah,
it definitely was different, and I enjoyed it for that aspect. Following this, we had the triple threat for the North American Championship. Before we talk about the match, how much of a star does Obafemi look like? Like his presentation, he looks like that superstar is ready to happen. Like he is made for this business.
He a big old boy too.
I don't think it's by coincidence that both the mid-card champions are NXT Level Up and NXT, what is it, the Next in Line program, like all of that.
Yeah.
I think it's by design that these people are in the positions they're in, because they're two of the most ring ready, camera ready, marketing ready candidates that came through that program.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from the women's side, we've seen a lot more people that were ring ready, camera ready, marketing ready than we did the men's side, which kind of surprised me as a fan, because I thought some of those Division I athletes, especially the ones that grew up lifelong wrestling fans, would have jumped at the opportunity. And a lot of them haven't been able to cash in on it. The women, however, I feel like starting as far back as Bianca Belair show you that some of these women are just made for the sport when they translate. And the women's class that people like Kalani Jordynne are coming from are the perfect example of that. So I think her and Obafemi are the walking epitome of what the Next in Line and the Level Up programs are supposed to represent.
I definitely agree with that. We see it coming still with Carly Bright, who's being featured, where they showed her video package tonight of where she came from as being a cheerleader for the University of Minnesota to now how she's in the ring.
Minnesota.
She's another one that picked it up rather quickly and feels like she's going to be great on camera. So it's definitely interesting in that aspect. But I agree with you 100% as to these two were probably the most ring ready out of anybody coming from that.
Yeah.
This match was a banger though. Like anything Wesley touches to me is gold. Like I just love his aura that he gives off. I love his energy and just the flow of everything he does. Never ceases to amaze me.
Unpopular opinion time.
Okay.
Wesley is my least favorite rascal.
Really?
Yeah. I think Trey Miguel is number one. I think Zachary Wentz has slid into that number 2 spot because of his work with Trey in TNA. Myron is 3 because he's always, in my opinion, been the quickest and the fastest. And Wes is the one that's kind of been lost in translation because he's been in the NXT system. You know what I mean? The other 3 have continued to be able to do rascal things. Wesley is a rascal struggling with his WWE identity crisis.
Now, would that have been the case if what happened to Nash Carter, aka Zachary Wentz, did not happen when he was within the NXT system?
No, because then it would be Trey Miguel, then Myron Reed, then Zachary Wentz, then Wesley.
No, that's not what I meant, but that was funny. I'm saying, do you think that they both would have been hindered as to what could be done as opposed to letting them both cook together?
It's
Is it
topical.
just the fact that he had to become a single star as opposed to still working under the tag division like the rest of the Rascals?
I just want to say, first and foremost, I think Wesley's a great wrestler. I think he's doing great in TNA. But I think a lot of times what you see happen is the WWE, and we were talking about it earlier with Ricochet, right? Like sometimes the WWE has trouble managing these high flyers and these high risk, like I'll call a spade and say these super indie wrestlers. WWE doesn't necessarily know how to translate that into their system a lot of times. So some of these guys don't get to grow the same way they would on the indies when they go there, because WWE is going to teach you to do a lot of things really, really, really well and the best in a lot of ways. But what they're not going to teach you to do is be the best high flyer, because they don't teach people to wrestle that way. That's why I think it's been a hindrance. And you can see it with Ricochet. Ricochet could be on the same level of high flyer as Will Ospreay, and a lot of people say he is, but because he's been under that WWE umbrella for so long, we haven't got to see Ricochet fly the way he should. And I think Wesley, in a lot of ways, may be suffering from I call it all the time, the WWE identity crisis.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think Wesley, when he went, I don't think he's done great for throwing him as a singles competitor. But at the same time, I like him more as a tag team. But I think he's an excellent talent.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, though. I feel like he had to evolve so much to go into the singles role to where it changed how he actually wrestled. Because when he was a tag team, he can come in and do all those high-flying acrobatics and just worry about that. Where as a single star, you need to be able to tell a story in the match throughout the entire match and how to develop in regards to that. But he is a great wrestler. So is Joe Coffey, and so is Obafemi. And this match tonight, these three guys cooked. I didn't like the involvement so much of Gallus during the match. Like, I don't feel that it was needed unless a title change was going to happen.
Agreed.
You know, like if there was a title change happening, then yes, do this so you still make Obafemi look strong, because it took four people to beat him. Not have him beat all four people, because now he looks unbeatable.
He does look unbeatable, and I don't
Like,
think that's a bad thing.
Who is going to take the belt off of him, though?
It doesn't matter right now.
He cashes in.
Yeah, just ride that wave until, you know, he enacts the never heard of option C in NXT, where he's like, think like Keith Lee, right? Keith Lee reached that point when he challenged Adam Cole for the belt. Like, he reached that point where, as the mid-card champion, he had chewed on everybody, won the heavyweight title, then relinquished the mid-card belt. I think Obafemi could be that big. Let him chew through everybody on this unprecedented style run, and then he lay the belt down in the middle and say, look, the only person's left is Trick Williams. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Whoever has the belt when it's time. I think that would be a good way to play through it. I think having him look larger than life was exactly what they had to do, and getting everybody involved was the way to do it. I think that one thing these three guys did really well in a triple threat match is, did 51% or more of the match involve all three of them? And it did. You know what I mean? Like, were all three men active in this match, or was it a whole bunch of 1v1 spots? They did a good job of making all three people involved, and then two more people later in the story. So overall, I would say this was a great match. I was okay with the finish. I think Obafemi needs to be pushed to the moon. Everything he's doing is fucking gold right now.
So
amazing.
Yeah, in regards to what you said about your little option C, they do have the breakout tournament, which usually happens in December. And that's how he won this title. He won the breakout tournament and cashed in against it. So that could be the way that he loses it, like tit for tat type thing.
Have him hold it until the end and have him go into the King of the Mountain match, or whatever it's called in NXT.
Iron Survivor?
Yeah, without the ladder. Instead, you guys score pinfalls. I think he could do it there too. I mean, I'm just spitballing at this point. I'm up past my bedtime talking about a show I watch because of you guys. Like, I'm here for y'all. I'm just for the ride.
Yeah, what was it? Actually, it's probably been about a year since you started watching NXT.
I started watching NXT again when you guys started NXT on tap. Literally the week you guys started the show was when I started watching again, because I quit watching around the time 2.0 debuted. when Vince took over from Triple H and 2.0 started, I was like, it's just not for me. I watch so much indie wrestling. Why am I going to watch WWE's indie wrestling? So it just wasn't my cup of tea. Then when you guys started NXT on Tap, you were like, you should watch it. It's getting good. And for the last year, consistently next to TNA, it's probably my favorite weekly show I watch.
It's the one show I really look forward to every single week. Like, I always try not to miss NXT.
It looks like a wrestling show. It feels like a wrestling show.
So after this, we only have 2 more matches left. So let's talk about the NXT Women's Championship. This one had...
I'm just going to mute up, and I'm going to hit my bowl, and I'm going to let Bo do his thing for a minute. He's got way more to say than I do about this.
We had TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace challenging the NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez.
Fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. Every bit of it. Hold on. It was a great match.
That's what I was going to say. Let's preface with that because it absolutely was.
This was a great match. Both women went out there. They gave it their all. Roxanne ripped out fucking Jordynne's earring. It was a dramatic experience. It was very sad. Blah, blah, blah. Then you get to fucking psycho bitch.
Tatum Paxley, for those who don't know who that is.
Tatum Paxley, which, by the way, is very, very good. Like, I love Tatum Paxley. So she comes out, and I'll break it down. And you think she's going to grab the NXT women's title. She does not. She goes for the TNA Knockouts Championship and tries to run off with that. All right, I'm down for it. And then, Scalz, a fucking perfume ripoff, Ash by fucking Elegance, who, by the way, was just fired from the company not too long ago, is the one is the knockout they decided to represent. That was just fucking stupid. The ending, now, the way they went into the Juggernaut driver into the cutter was fucking, like, me and you talked about that. That was fucking cool. But the Ash by Elegance thing, man, was dumb. Because it might not be true, but at against all odds, this open challenge, it's in a run-in of 2 people. It's Tatum Paxley versus Ash by Elegance. I want it to be Tatum Paxley, but I'm telling y'all it's going to be fucking Ash by Elegance. I'm calling it right now.
I hate to say this. I am a betting man. Okay? What's the wager here? Because I'm willing to bet that the person who's coming in for the open challenge isn't from TNA. I have it on good accord that the person opening the open challenge isn't from TNA. So what's the wager here, Bo?
I'm just saying. I mean, it made no. I did not like it. I don't like it. You can't make me like it. It was fucking stupid.
The match was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
These 2 women were given time. They went out there. They showed up. They showed out. Some of the moves were freaking amazing that they did. The off the top rope stuff with them. The reverse from the Jordynne driver into the cutter was unbelievable. Because if you were not paying attention, you wouldn't have seen what happened. And then she went right into the pop rocks. And it was a good match. I don't agree with the result because I feel that they missed the perfect opportunity to be able to cross promote both brands immensely.
This is where I'm going to be the positive Patsy for you instead of a negative Nancy. Okay. I get what you're saying because I understand that it was, the perfect chance for them to have cross promotion and continue with the cross promotion, all of that going into it. I have faith in the fact that the business side of all of this says that Endeavor wants to make as much money from TNA Plus as possible. So Endeavor is going to make WWE and TNA play nice in the sandbox because Endeavor wants to cash 2 checks. They've got a multi-billion-dollar TV deal with Netflix. They've got a multi-million-dollar deal with TNA Plus. So to them, it's nothing but dollar signs. So this is why I'm a glass half full here, because to me, I don't see this being the end because it wouldn't make sense financially. And that's all Endeavor cares about with TKO is that bottom line. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
It's not the end. It's delaying the start of it. And I don't like that. Because I wanted more of an impact to start this relationship off. I wanted there to be something to be excited about. Right now, you gave me nothing to be excited about with this relationship. I saw a great wrestling match.
They left a lot of meat on the bones for us.
Not in regards to the women's division.
Tatum Paxley kidnapping the Knockouts title.
It would have made more sense. It would have made more sense if Tatum actually got away with it.
But I think tying Tatum taking that belt and not the NXT belt is like, oh shit, Bo's right there, 100%.
Yes.
Ash by Elegance getting involved is that bridge between a former NXT talent and a current TNA talent. So that gives us the crossover. We had the stuff in the back.
No one likes her on the screen. No one cheered for her when she was in NXT as Dana Brooke. Everybody hates her new gimmick of Ash by Elegance. No one likes it.
I'm trying to be positive.
Why was she the one to do it?
Because she is
it deflated the entire event from that moment on.
She's the one person from both locker rooms outside of Jordynne Grace and another few that have worked with both sides of both locker rooms. WWE, it would be a lot easier to get hold of her and to get TNA's approval than it would be for a lot of these other people that we have high aspirations for coming into, because when it boils down to it, even with TNA wanting the streaming rights to do it, and Anthem and TNA aren't going to just hand over their biggest stars, even though they did just technically do that by giving Jordynne Grace to WWE, but that's neither here nor there.
Why would a person who got fired want to be back on NXT TV?
Didn't Mickie James give her shit like in a garbage bag or something, and then she went in there hardcore country like 4 months later? Man, you would be amazed what some of these motherfuckers would do for the almighty dollar. I'm just saying.
No, you're not wrong. You're not
business,
wrong. You're not wrong on it.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I hate that that's what this is becoming. But in reality, if you see the writings on the wall and you understand they're going to do whatever is going to make them the most money in the long run, like, boo. That's as negative as I'll get. I just don't like predictability in wrestling because of what's going to be based off the bottom line. Once you start basing it off of, the money, and I know that sounds so fucking contradictory because I keep saying it's a business, like you want to make money. But when you make your storylines predictable because of the bottom line, that's where it starts to become an issue.
Yeah.
I just think they could have done so much more with Tatum actually taking the belt and after the match causing Jordynne to go find her. And
I think that would have been cool. Because then she could have went into Friday without the belt. Who's the open challenge? Tatum could have came out wearing the belt. That would have been fucking cool as shit. Good call, Scalz. That actually makes sense. See? No, that's actually not a bad story. Like, when was the last time they did the stolen belt angle? Who did that? Somebody just did it.
Yeah. trying to think of
Somebody-
when it was, but that would have made sense.
Yeah.
But anything else on this match?
Stupid.
I loved it.
It was a great match. Stupid result, because I felt it would have made more sense to have Jordynne walk in to Against All Odds wearing both belts and get people intrigued to watching that. But I just want this relationship to work. And that's me being optimistic. Like I like both brands. I love watching TNA. I just can't watch TNA until now. Now I can because of Jackson. We're gonna get the package, but I don't have access TV, so I couldn't watch TNA. Like that's the one reason I don't watch it. Otherwise, I would.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna start watching it weekly. I'm excited for it. I just want this to work.
I think we all just want it to work.
Now let's head over to the main event of the evening. Ethan Page versus Trick Williams. Can we get Booker T off of commentary, please?
Al says, "Don't ignore me."
I
NXT
didn't-
titles on NXT talent.
Al, I will say this honestly. I did not even see your comment until you posted, "Don't ignore me." I saw the "Don't ignore me" before I saw your comment.
She was
And
coming for blood.
I know how you feel in regards to that. I understand that. You've always been keep the titles on the NXT talent. I get it. Then why didn't we have a title change in the main event? Because he's an NXT talent. He's not from another brand. What's the reason that we kept the belt on Trick? Because it was his first title defense? He's had the belt for 2 months and he's defended the title the first time. Like, come on. Don't get me wrong. I love Trick Williams. I think he's amazing in the ring. He is uber talented for only being wrestling for 2.5 years. He's come a long way. But it's Ethan Page. Like, you had the opportunity right there to do something different. You're bringing a guy in. Now, for everybody that's going to say, oh, it's like Mercedes because he got a title shot in his first match. Come on. If it was like Mercedes, he'd have the belt. I don't know. I think this would have made too much sense to do it. What do you guys think?
I don't think there was a bad call to be made here. Both guys are rock stars. I've slowly started to be won over for Ethan Page. I can't get past the wrestling himself on green screen thing. That was a bit too.
You gotta get past it.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I finally understand Yoshihiko because the way it was explained to me to make sense. But now it's like I'm supposed to believe that this man is one of the best wrestlers to ever lived because he wrestled himself.
I'm
sorry.
The best. Like he's a good wrestler.
I'm getting there. Let's be happy because I'm trying to be cup half full. I'm being the optimistic, positive Patsy tonight. Ethan Page is winning me over. I think that him and Trick had a great match. I think that him losing to Trick allows for a build to another story if he wants a rematch. He didn't look weak in defeat, so it would make sense if he fights for a rematch. I think it gives Ethan Page to be in potential runs with other people that are strong in the men's division. It could help elevate some of them. So I think Ethan Page has stuff he can do.
What men's division?
Either
Who else is a good challenger for Trick Williams right now?
Okay, so if I were in a situation where I were like, okay, how can I build a story with Trick Williams, right? You look at the fact that in that locker room right now, you could say Okay. What's the dude's name from Brooks and Dunn?
Josh Briggs.
Yeah, Josh Briggs. He could be a viable option. We know Trick will win, but that could be a one-off at a pay-per-view that could be, believable. I don't think that would be I don't think Josh Briggs would be an unbelievable challenger. He looks like a champion. He walks like a champion. He's a big dude. I think his cut's a little small, but that's just because, maybe I watched too many Sons of Anarchy episodes. I don't know. I think if I'll call him by his government name again, Shawn Michael Hickenbottom. I think Shawn Michael Hickenbottom is a smart enough wrestling mind. I'll use some niche, trendy words. He's a wrestling mind that can make it work. Trick is a good enough star that whoever you make him work with will look good doing it. You know what I mean? So I think he's got a good problem in a sense that he's got a champion that can make anything look convincing.
I just feel like they don't really have much set up right now for the world title picture.
But that's the beauty in leaving a big show like Battleground, is because on Tuesday we get to start over. You know what I mean? So we get to find out what's next. What's up, Devin? Thanks for stopping by, bud.
What's up, Devin?
What's going on, Devin? How we doing? Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I think it would have been nice to present Ethan Page as that superstar, comes in, wins a belt. It would just open up the potential for others who are on the outside of WWE looking in, thinking that it could happen for them as well. And he was presented like a star. They had the superstar entrance. He came out. He had a great entrance coming out. Like, I don't know. I guess I like to see more title changes happen because we were so stuck in titles staying on the same person in the main roster. I just think NXT should not go that route where these guys hold these belts for too long. That just might be my way of thinking because we don't see title changes as much anymore.
When does the new TV deal start up?
October.
Does Trick Williams drop the belt before then and they go into the CW with somebody else? Is that the question? Like, do you think there's anybody else on the roster that would be a bigger face for the company than Trick Williams right now?
I think Ethan Page would have been.
Okay, so Ethan Page or Trick, and that was it right now, right?
Right now, there's nobody else that's built up that way. Everybody that was is now on the main roster.
Okay. I was just curious because that was my reasoning behind it is who's gonna be the first person you see that first Tuesday on CW?
See, I think they could have had Ethan win here and then Trick get his rematch at Heatwave. And then maybe he went back over there and then he builds from there going forward. But, Al, 2 months is not a long time, but it is for his first title defense. Like, they're supposed to defend the belt every 30 days. Isn't that the rule in WWE that they usually go by?
Yeah, there was a 30-day rule forever. I'm not sure if they still use it.
But that's the only reason I said 2 months. Like, they usually defend the belt more often in NXT. I was actually surprised until I looked it up today that this was his first title defense. Yeah.
I don't know. I think the match again was good. I would have liked to see Ethan Page take it because they gave him a great story coming into it, made him look like a star, and yeah.
I don't want to go back and forth with Al in these comments, but Bayley's only held the belts for 2 months and she's already defended it once.
True.
The other ones I can't argue with, except for the fact that I know Rhea has defended it at house shows numerously. Roman was Roman because he was made to be a megastar, and it worked for Roman. It does feel longer. That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't realize Trick was 2 months already before his first defense.
Was
I had
this
to look
really
at.
Drig's first defense?
Yeah, I had. You know me. I track everything in regards to title defenses.
Oh yeah.
I gotta update the last one anyway. But overall, I thought tonight was a very good show. Great
Yeah.
wrestling, great matches. I didn't like the outcomes a lot, but that's me. You might have enjoyed it more than I did in regards to that. I also like to. I feel sometimes that I expect too much from wrestling, and that's my downfall because I am invested in this. What was
I'm
your guys'
invested.
overall impressions of the show?
You could have held it in the performance center and it would have had the same atmosphere.
See, I think they wanted to try something different. And also with the fact that they had to move the pay-per-view because of Double or Nothing, that they wanted to go into AEW's home area, so to speak, 2 weeks after them, and essentially probably get a bigger gate from the 700 people showing up than the people that sold that were people at Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
That's a ballsy statement, Scalz.
How many tickets were sold at Double or Nothing?
Let me
What
do
was it
some
like?
math real quick and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I get that
we
there was
know.
more than 702, Al, but they also made this feel like it was a spectacle and a special event to happen. So first time ever something has been like this at the Apex.
I don't know.
All right. The average ticket price for Double or Nothing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The average $52. There were
Okay.
9,000 sold, $468,000. Okay.
Okay.
How many did WWE sell?
I think the max was 702, but let me see if I can find out the real number.
This is live TV, ladies and gentlemen.
Folks.
Steiner math.
They distributed 683.
What's the average ticket price?
I would say 300.
204,000.
No cost to run no cost to run the show though.
It's true. That's a big difference is having a free venue, trust me. Like not having to pay rent to run your show is a big one, even at WWE's level.
So it could be close to similar.
And that's saying that AEW had 9,000 people in attendance for Double or Nothing. I don't know. That seems like a very exact number, so that could be a little bit more, a little bit less as well. Keeping that in mind. Because it said the MGM Grand Arena's the attendance was 9,000 and the buy rate was 133. Okay.
So it could be pretty close. So maybe I misspoke with it being a higher sales, but
with less. Keep in mind that WWE was half of the gate with 10% of the asses in seats. Okay, so if WWE had 25%, you know what I mean? Which I think they could have put. They could sell out a 2,000 seat arena and make it a fucking rock show. And
they just sold out how much at Stand and Deliver in Philly?
Well, but then again, this is an apples to oranges comparison because it's not fair to compare AEW, a 5-year-old company, to a 70-year tradition and history of WWE. It's not the same. That would be like, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be again, I'm a positive Patsy
No.
tonight. I'm trying to be positive. It's not fair to assume that a 5-year-old company would have the same drawing power that a 70-year-old company would.
Fair.
But who am I to use logic? I'm just a mark with a fucking mic.
But anything else we want to touch on before we head on out for the evening?
You?
Sure.
Sorry, I made it an hour. I tried.
All right. Jax, where can we find you?
Anywhere and everywhere. You can find me right back here Tuesday for NXT on tap. Sundays over on Rivet City Radio for Bot Spots and Chair Shots. Anywhere else you want to find me, follow me on Twitter, Jaxpo2020. Hit the link tree.
Will?
First and foremost, I want to say thank you guys for allowing me to come hang out tonight and watch some NXT with you. That was a lot of fun. If you're interested in my shenanigans elsewhere, you're watching on Off the Top Media or Rivet City Radio, you obviously know who the fuck I am. But if you're not, you can check my link tree at The Will Gray. Anywhere you do anything on the internet, there you will find everything I do for Rivet City Radio, Botch Boss and Chair Shots, Off the Top Media, and my writing profile for The Last Word on Sports and The Sportster.
I am Scalz. You can find me here on Off the Top Media on both Twitch and YouTube, as well as Off the Top Media _ on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. I host NXT on Tap on Tuesday nights with Jax and Phil, as well as FNR on Friday nights, right after SmackDown with Cam and sometimes Jamie, sometimes another host, but every week it's Cam. If you guys want to see us again, make sure you like, subscribe, share us out, help us hit that algorithm, and help us get some new listeners. I want to thank everybody for stopping out tonight. We'll hope to see you again soon. Have a great evening.